The glory of the Lord ascended on an elegant chariot, as a judge rising from his judgment seat, entering the chariot and departing. C.S. Lewis said, "We do not truly see light. We only see something slower than light, so that for us, light is at the edge, the last thing we know before things become too fast for us." Cherubim, Hebrew, cherubim. The plural form of cherub, literally, those who are close, near ones, close angels. Are winged angels associated with praise and worship of God? They are first mentioned in Genesis 3:24.
So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword which turned every way, to keep the way of the tree of life. Genesis 3:24.
God placed cherubim, a group of angelic beings, on the east side of the Garden of Eden with a flaming sword to prevent access to the tree of life, ensuring that humans could not enter. This signifies several important points. 1. God's displeasure with Adam, even though God had mercy on him. At that moment, he was angry with Adam, becoming his adversary and opposing him. 2. Angelic warfare. There was no peace with heavenly armies, as long as Adam rebelled against God. 3. The way to the tree of life was closed. The path to the tree of life, initially accessible to the innocent, was sealed off. It's not stated that the cherubim were placed there to keep humanity away from the tree of life forever. Instead, they were stationed to guard the way to the tree of life. Cherubim are also symbolically represented in the golden statues, placed on the mercy seat above the Ark of the Covenant, where the stone tablets were kept. Exodus 25:16-22, Hebrews 9-5.
And thou shalt make 2 cherubims of gold, of beaten work shalt thou make them, and the 2 ends of the mercy seat. Exodus 25:18.
Cherubim were also used as decorations on curtains and wooden walls in the tabernacle. Exodus 26-31. And they adorned the temple of Solomon. 1 Kings 6:26. Typically, cherubim are also depicted as storm winds, which serve as a means of transportation for God. In the vision of the holy place seen by Ezekiel, cherub decorations were described as having 2 faces, 1 human and 1 lion. However, Ezekiel also saw cherubim with 4 faces and 4 wings. Ezekiel witnessed the glory of God departing from the holy place, where God's honor had dwelled for some time, and it was a poignant sight. While it was comforting to see that God didn't entirely leave the land, it was saddening that he left his holy place. The glory of the Lord ascended to the threshold of the holy place, after issuing the necessary commands to destroy the city. From there, it rested on the cherubim. Not those in the most holy place, but the ones Ezekiel saw in his vision. The glory of the Lord ascended on an elegant chariot, as a judge rising from his judgment seat, entering the chariot and departing. The cherubim raised their wings as they were directed, and they ascended from the ground like birds with their wings. When they departed, the wheels went with them instinctively, not needing to be pulled. This indicated that the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. In this way, when God departs from a people in his wrath, the angels above and all the events below concur in supporting his departure. All living creatures and wheels concurred in serving him, and he gave himself to the assembly as the head of all that exists. Jewish religious teachers refer to Ezekiel's vision as the Merkabah, which means the vision of the chariot. Several verses in the Bible mention angels having wings. Hebrew, Kanaf.
Above it stood the seraphims, each one had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, and with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he did fly. Isaiah 6:2.
Other verses speak of angels flying. and it is presumed that wings are used for that purpose.
Yea, whiles I was speaking in prayer, even the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, being caused to fly swiftly, touched me about the time of the evening oblation. Daniel 9:21.
Nevertheless, it can be assumed that angels can travel anywhere without relying on their wings. Furthermore, most references in the Bible do not mention wings, and in passages like in Genesis chapters 18-19, it explicitly states that no wings were visible. The question of whether all angels have wings cannot be definitively answered. When some women came to Jesus' tomb early on Sunday morning, they found an angel had rolled away the stone covering the tomb and said to them, "He is not here, for he has risen." Matthew 28:1-5. However, in the book of Mark 16:1-6, this angel is described as a young man dressed in a white robe, which likely implies that there were no wings visible in this appearance. Perhaps the angel appeared youthful at that time. In other words, it can be concluded that angels can take on various forms according to God's will. Some people suggest that angels may not actually have wings, scales, or fins, but that wings may symbolize their role as swift-moving heavenly messengers. Some even describe them as having a circle made of light, where light is a symbol of the primary substance of their spirit. Light is the fastest, most practical substance in the universe. C.S. Lewis said, "We do not truly see light. We only see something slower than light, so that for us, light is at the edge, the last thing we know before things become too fast for us. But the angelic body moves at the speed of light. So you could say that their bodies are made of light, though it is not light to them." Some philosophers argue that angels never use physical bodies, and that all angelic appearances to humans, including those recorded in the Bible, are merely mental visions that occur in the imagination. St. Thomas Aquinas argued against this view, saying, "An appearance in someone's imagination is a personal experience, so others may not be able to see it at that time." Summa Theologiae I 51:2. Angels can take on the form of a human when necessary. This is why people are advised to entertain angels.
Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. Hebrews 13:2.
When angels appear, they often do so in the form of a human. In Genesis chapter 18, Abraham welcomed 3 angelic visitors who appeared as regular guests like ordinary humans. In the following chapter, 2 angels went to Sodom, where they were also regarded as ordinary visitors.